What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the podcast, Talk with Beauty, episode 181, the Wednesday Core 4 Plus news. And on today, we got the MLB playoffs to talk about. Plus, NFL injuries are looking rough this week. And is Albert Pujols getting a managerial job next season? But first, let's head into the NHL. So starting this one off in the NHL, the season starts, I believe, on Tuesday. So the season is right around the corner. We actually have an episode planned out for you guys that should come out hopefully by Sunday or Monday, at the very least on Tuesday when the season does start. Come out with our predictions. I got guests to help me out with that. We're still finalizing the details there. But NHL episode will be out sooner than later. So to start off with the NHL, we'll start off with Pittsburgh's Marc-Andre Fleury playing his last professional hockey game of his career. Pittsburgh versus the Columbus Blue Jackets in the preseason. He played alongside Crosby, Malkin, and Letang for one last time. Pittsburgh getting the win in that one. They did have a shootout. The shootout did not go Pittsburgh's way, but regardless, Pittsburgh did win their last game with Marc-Andre Fleury in net. Now the thing is, a lot of people are talking to Fleury saying we would like for you to come out of retirement and play with our team. I don't think he's going to say yes to that unless it's Pittsburgh. And I don't think Pittsburgh is in a situation where they're going to give Fleury a contract. I think he's still a great backup right now. I think he can still do it if he needs. So Marc-Andre Fleury, if he does come out, I think he could still hang. But I also would not be surprised to see him just hang it up, call it quits, have a good career, move on to the next. Panthers announced that Alexander Barkov, their captain, will be done for the entire season due to a knee injury that he sustained in practice. This is tough news, especially when you're trying to go back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. They're losing Tkachuk for most of the start of the year, and now they're losing Barkov for the whole entire year. I think this is definitely going to put a damper in Florida's season. I still think Florida's a really good team. I still could see them making playoffs and doing something, but winning for a third straight year is definitely going to be much harder this upcoming year without their captain. Now let's head into some crazy signings. We got some big signings to talk about. We'll start off with Anaheim. Mason McTavish finally signed to 6 years, $7 million AAV. I think this is a great contract. I think Anaheim likes McTavish. I don't know why it took him this long to come to agreement here. And I think McTavish might be one of their top players in the future. So I really like him staying here in Anaheim for another 6 years. The Blues signed Cam Fowler to 3 years, $6.1 million AAV. I think this is a little steep on AAV, but Fowler looked really good last year. He's looked good all his career. I think St. Louis really likes him, especially only having a sample season last year, getting him halfway through the year. I think Fowler in St. Louis is a good fit. 6.1 is a little steep for me, but I still think he'll probably do pretty well for that number. Toronto extends Anthony Stolarz to 4 years, $3.75 million AAV. Stolarz looked pretty good. He helped out Toronto a lot. He's got to stay in the lineup. That's going to be his biggest problem. But 3.75 I don't think is too bad for a contract in a goalie situation where he could be your number one for the next 4 years. So pretty solid there. New Jersey finally signs Luke Hughes, 7 years, $9 million AAV. I think this is a pretty good contract. I don't think Hughes is worth $9 million, but 7 years, lock him in. I think that's good there. I still think $9 million is just a little steep for Luke Hughes. We got to see him prosper a little bit more into that $9 million contract, but I think it's, for the most part, it's okay. It's not terrible. Minnesota signs a huge contract with Kirill Kaprizov, 8 years, $17 million AAV, the highest contract ever for average annual salary for an NHL player. This is interesting. I think Kirill is a great player. I think Minnesota is a pretty solid team, but just based off of those two comments, a solid player, a pretty good team. I don't know if this is going to hurt Minnesota. They just got out of the contracts with Ryan Suter and Zach Parise. Maybe that's the reason why they're okay spending this $17 million AAV, but to me that just seems too steep. I think Kirill is one of the top players, but I don't know if he's worth the highest contract in history. I guess we'll just see, but Minnesota, well, hopefully you're happy with this because you're stuck with it for 8 more years. Edmonton trades Connor Ingram or gets Connor Ingram from a trade from Utah. Future considerations is there Utah will keep $800,000. I think Edmonton needs goaltending. Connor Ingram could be a good backup. I don't think he's a starter. I don't think he's a very good starter, but he could help out Skinner, giving Skinner the days off there. Vegas is closing in on a deal with Carter Hart. I believe he could sign, but he won't be reinstated till December. The details are kind of fuzzy on my end. I think that's how it's going to work out. Not surprised Vegas is getting another star name to their roster. Will he be the same Carter Hart that we saw in Philadelphia? Will we see a better? Will we see a worse? I don't really know. He hasn't been around hockey in, I think, a year and a half now. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of Carter Hart we're going to see in Vegas, if that is a confirmed source and an actual landing spot for Carter Hart. Florida signs Nico Mikkola to 8 years, $5 million AAV. I like Mikkola a lot. $5 million for what he does for that team. Great contract. Really like that one there. Anaheim extends Jackson Lacombe to 8 years, $9 million AAV, making him the highest Anaheim player in history when it comes to overall salary. Higher AAV came from Perry, Getzoff, and Korea, but they did not earn a higher total amount over those certain amount of years. So Lacombe getting the highest overall money earned with this contract. Now, as an Anaheim fan, I know who Jackson Lacombe is. I like his game. I think he's a solid player. I don't think he's worth $9 million AAV at all. Now, if you look from the outside of the league and looking in, who the hell is Jackson Lacombe is probably what 29 other teams' fans are saying. I don't think there's a lot of people that know Jackson Lacombe's name. I hope Anaheim's right and they're thinking that Lacombe is going to be the next star-studded defenseman. He's only played the last 2 years, played about 160 games, 60 points, a minus 25 plus minus in his career, averaging around 22, 23 minutes a game. He gets a lot of minutes, he gets a lot of time, but I just do not know if Anaheim and Jackson Lacombe is going to mesh well. $9 million, it's a lot. It's going to be interesting, though. I think we just got to wait to see what it pans out, but as of right now, I do not like the contract very much, especially as an Anaheim fan. Max Pacioretty and Eric Johnson announced that they are retired from the game. We already knew that Pacioretty was retiring based off the last episode that we made, College Sports, all about college hockey, college football, and a few other stuff sprinkled in there this past week. So if you haven't checked that one out, go check that out. Pacioretty joining the Michigan Wolverines hockey team to be a special consultant kind of thing to the head coach. Eric Johnson, no word on what he will be doing in retirement. I could just see him just hanging it up, hanging out with his family for the rest of his years. But congrats to both these guys on a awesome career. Zdeno Chara has been hired as the Boston's hockey operation advisor and mentor. Not really sure what that means, but he's back in the hockey world and he's back with the Boston Bruins, so that's huge for the Bruins there. And we have two jerseys to talk about now, big jerseys to talk about. We'll start off with the anniversary jersey for the Minnesota Wild, the 25th anniversary jersey here. It is a white-based uniform, pretty much exactly a cut and copy of the first ever Minnesota Wild jersey. We had that dark green, the red, the gold, the same logo we see on the main jersey is on this jersey as well. The green shoulders come all the way down to the arms, gold trim, and a red collar that goes down into red trim following that gold trim with the green down from the shoulders to the arms. The white in the middle, the torso at the bottom is a small green stripe, a thick red stripe, a small green stripe, and a thick green stripe to the very bottom. Overall, I think the jersey looks great. The shoulder patches also include the original Wild alternate logo that we have seen multiple times. I think that logo looks great, matches the uniform perfectly. And on the other shoulder, we have the 25th anniversary logo from this upcoming season. The numbers are red on the back and gold on the arms with the classic Wild font that we saw back in the early 2000s. Green gloves that are pretty much the same gloves as they had last year. I don't think they're changing the gloves color at all. Green shorts to match the bottom of the jersey. The socks are white, has the striping in the middle for red, green, gold, green, red. That is a little busy, but overall it kind of matches the jersey in the sake of the striping colors. Now, again, what do I rate this number or this jersey out of 10? What number am I giving it? I'm giving it a 10. I don't give out a lot of perfects, but I think this is amazing. I think they nailed it out of the park. This is one of those jerseys that I think I would love to have in my collection. I already have a white Minnesota jersey, but to have two and have to be one of those be this jersey would be amazing. I love this uniform. I love that the NHL is going back to older looking uniforms, kind of get that nostalgia look from some of these older fans, get them more exciting when it comes to money profit and things like that. I think this is an out of the park jersey. 25th anniversary uniform looks outstanding for Minnesota. Really think it's going to be sought after by a lot of people, even non-Minnesota Wild fans. So great job, 10 out of 10 for me. And we'll move on to the next one, the 30th anniversary jersey of the San Jose Sharks. Now this is the original teal color, which is a little bit darker than the one we see now. Gray shoulders that go down all the way to the arms about halfway or so. Switches up to a black jersey, a black bottom of the sleeve, all the way down to the gloves. Black underneath the armpit area and kind of coming up to the front, kind of making a potential teeth look little pointed near the shoulders. Kind of busy, kind of hard to describe, but if you're on the YouTube, you've seen pictures of it. Black collar of the uniform, the gray stripe at the bottom of the jersey, no other striping there. The original Sharks logo that we saw on the inaugural season, no shoulder patch or anniversary logos are seen on this. Actually, no other ads actually I've seen on this. We did see an ad on the Minnesota one, nothing here on San Jose. I think they are one of the few teams that do not have ads on their home and aways as well. I think they have it on their helmets, but they do not have it on their jersey, and I think they're bringing that back for this upcoming season. So no ads on the San Jose jerseys. The numbers on the back are white, and on the arms are black in that original font that we saw 30 years ago. So overall, what do I think of this uniform? I think there's a lot going on. It's exactly a cut and copy of the very first jersey we saw in San Jose's history. I like that. Back to the nostalgia thing that I talked about, Minnesota, bringing back the older fans that enjoyed those uniforms, bringing it in a Fanatics or Adidas cut. They did a really good job the last, I think, 7 or 8 years bringing back nostalgia for some of these teams. San Jose did another great job here with the nostalgia here. But overall, I think it's just a little too busy in my opinion. I think it looks good. 8.1 out of 10 for me. The colors look good. It's just the black for me. It's just kind of like all over the place. There's a lot of moving parts. It's just a little too busy in my opinion, but I think the original Sharks logo looks really good. I like the modern one now, but bringing us this 30th anniversary jersey looks really good. So 8.1 out of 10, still really respectable numbers. I don't see it in my collection in the future, but if I see it for a good price, I would be happy with it. All right, let's head to the MLB. We'll start off with San Francisco's Rafael Devers, now becoming the first player since 2008 where Justin Morneau played 163 games. Devers played 163 games. We will not see a game 163 anymore because of these new rules that were implemented, I think, 2 years ago. So Devers being traded over from Boston halfway through the year, played all the games once he came over to the Giants, playing 163 games. So congrats to you, Devers, on something that might not happen again, or at least for another very long time. Martin Maldonado announced that he will be retiring at the conclusion of the playoffs. He's playing currently with San Diego. I figure once his team is done in the playoffs, he will announce that retirement going forward. Pete Alonso's contract should be opted out this upcoming offseason. He is set to be a free agent, so the Mets are going to have to try and find a new first baseman or find a new contract for Pete Alonso. Now we got some managerial news. Minnesota fires Rocco Baldelli, I believe that's how you say it. He was there the last 7 years. Not a good season this year. They're moving on from him. Texas part ways with Bruce Bochy, which actually I'm very surprised because Bochy won a World Series in 2023. I think he can be a good manager still, but I just don't know where he would end up, besides maybe San Francisco, where they have just fired Bob Melvin. The guy who's doing all the moves there is Buster Posey, and he played under Bruce Bochy for all but 1 year of his career. I could see Bochy coming back to San Francisco, but I could also see maybe he just kind of doesn't want to manage anymore. So we'll see what moves will be made with San Francisco and Bruce Bochy. Pittsburgh announced that they are extending Don Kelly to become their manager. He was the interim for the rest of the season. They liked what he did. Don Kelly is back as the manager for the next year. The Angels announced that Ron Washington and Ray Montgomery will not be returning to the team. Ron was gone due to health issues. Montgomery came in as interim manager. Both did not do all that great in their tenure with the team. So it sounds like they're moving forward, and it sounds like the front runner is Albert Pujols. He will be potentially the new manager of the team. Now, I don't know where they stand on this. I don't know if Albert Pujols is really the best option. He hasn't managed an MLB team at all. He manages the Dominican Republic team right now. So that team, as somebody put it to me, is almost like an all-star team. You got some of the best players in the world on your team. You really don't have to do too much. You just got to put a roster together and write out the lineup. So I don't know what Albert Pujols can bring to this team outside. He is a very smart baseball mind. He's been with the Angels before. I think he could do something here. The biggest thing with the Angels are just make the playoffs. They are the longest drought in MLB history. They're slowly starting to come up to be the longest drought in the major U.S. sports history, or at least current right now. So it doesn't look really good for the Angels. So if the Angels do bring in Pujols, there's a high expectation, but I do not expect it to be turned around after 1 year. So Angel fans got to be patient still, especially because what else you got to be waiting for? Let's be real here. It sounds like Atlanta is moving away from Brian Stickner from their manager role. So a lot of manager spots open right now. I don't know what is going to be the most ideal one to be at, but only time will tell now. So we'll have to stay put and listen to what's going on in the manager news moving forward. Also, last thing to talk about before we talk about playoffs, this season marked the first time since 2005 that we have not seen a no-hitter thrown. Very interesting. I did not know we've gone that long without having at least one no-hitter thrown. I also really would have thought that somebody did throw it. We did have a couple close calls. I think the closest we got was, up top of my head, Nick Martinez with Cincinnati. Thinking onto the last stat against San Diego, ended up losing that one off a double to the outfield. So a lot of close calls, but nobody actually went up and over and got that no-hitter. So first time since 2005. So maybe next year we'll get one back in the no-hitter column for us. Playoff looks. Now, we are at the wild card series right now. We'll start off with Cleveland and Detroit. Cleveland being the home team. This is game 3 right now. Right now, as I'm recording this, it's game 3 on Thursday morning. 1-1, bottom of the 5th right now for these two teams. The winner moves on to play Seattle, which I actually would not want to play Seattle. Seattle's got the hot hand. They've kind of cooled off because they've been on this break, so maybe one of these two teams can sneak out a win or two to start off the series, but I still would not want to play Seattle, especially in a best-of-5 over in Seattle. Boston versus New York, that's going to game 3. The winner has to face Toronto. I don't think Toronto is enough to win the World Series, so I think this is actually a good matchup for either of these two to move forward. I would say, based off of what happened last game, New York's got all the momentum, but I really like Boston better in between these two teams. I think Boston moves forward, but we'll wait and see. Now headed to the NL side, San Diego versus Chicago Cubs. The winner will face Milwaukee, which is the number 1 seed overall in these playoffs. I think San Diego is better, but Chicago's pitching has looked pretty damn good. I think Chicago actually wins the game 3, which will be fine by me because I'm tired of listening to all the San Diego fans come out of the woodworks just for October. And then last one, LA versus Cincinnati. That one ended in a sweep. The Dodgers winning that one 2-0. The winner would have had to face Philadelphia. So now we're seeing Philly versus Los Angeles. We've seen it before. We're going to see it again. I think LA is better than Philadelphia, but I would not be surprised to see the winner of this win the World Series. I think these are the best two teams left of the teams I could see, and it's a shame that we're seeing this in NLDS and not the NLCS. But I think the winner of this moves on to the World Series easily. So that's just a little playoff look. We'll move on to the NFL. All right, we got some news for injuries. Malik Neighbors from the Giants out for the year with a torn ACL. And same with Tyreek Hill for the Miami Dolphins. He tore his ACL. Also, a couple other ligaments in his knee. So 2 big names out for the season. Tampa Bay's Chase McLaughlin, kicker for the team, hit a 65-yard field goal to end the first half against the Eagles, and that became the longest outdoor field goal made in NFL history. So congrats to you, McLaughlin, on that milestone. Now let's head into game recaps from the week. Start off on Thursday. Seattle beat Arizona 23-20. Jacksonville beat San Francisco 26-21. Chicago beat Las Vegas 25-24. Minnesota lost to Pittsburgh 24-21. The Chargers lost to the Giants 18-21. Debut for Jackson Dart looked pretty solid. Maybe we see a couple other wins strung together by the Giants there. Tennessee gets shut out by Houston 26-0. Washington loses to Atlanta 34-27. New Orleans loses to Buffalo 31-19. Philadelphia beats Tampa Bay 31-25. Cleveland loses to Detroit 34-10. Carolina loses to New England 42-13. Indianapolis loses to the Rams 20-27. Baltimore loses to Kansas City 20-37. Green Bay and Dallas tie in a 40-40 contest. New Jersey and Miami, that one went Miami's way 27-21. And lastly, Cincinnati versus Denver. Denver winning that one 28-3. Now we'll move on to week 5, and we got our picks for this upcoming week. No picks from last week due to not having an episode. Thursday Night Football, we got the Niners versus the Rams. The Niners are struggling without Brock Purdy, Juwan Jennings, and Ricky Pearsall, in my opinion. So the Rams win it easily. I don't even think it's going to be close. Minnesota versus Cleveland. I got Minnesota. Cleveland is starting Dylan Gabriel for the first time. I think he's going to struggle. Minnesota wins with Carson Wentz at the helm. Houston versus Baltimore. I think Baltimore gets out of the hump. They get the win there. Giants versus Saints. Giants look really good. I'm actually really liking watching them. Give me the Giants and Cam Scatterbo being another difference maker in that one. Denver versus Philadelphia. Give me Denver. Denver's looked really good. Philly, I think, has had a couple slow starts, and they're able to get them out of the hump. I don't think Denver is going to, if they get them to a slow start, I think they're going to be able to hold them off. So I'm going to go Denver on the road there. Dallas versus the Jets. I think the Cowboys get it done. Their defense isn't good, but the Jets are bad all around. Give me the offense for the Cowboys. Raiders versus Colts. I still think the Colts are really good. I don't think it's just a fairy tale beginning. I think they're going to keep riding this for a while. The Raiders aren't that great, in my opinion. Give me the Colts. Dolphins versus Panthers. I could see this one going either way. Dolphins don't look good. They don't have Tyreek Hill for the rest of the year. Carolina looks just eh. They have moments of greatness. Then they get pretty much pummeled by a team, and then we got to expect them to not do well again. They got pummeled by New England. I think they're going to lose at home to the Dolphins. Tampa Bay versus Seattle. I think this is going to be a good game. I think Seattle wins because they're the home team. Tennessee versus Arizona. I got Arizona. Arizona's not that bad. Tennessee is not that great. So take the team that's not that bad. Washington versus the Chargers. I think Chargers look really good. I'm going to take the Chargers. I don't expect Washington to be terrible in this game, but I think the Chargers are just a little bit better. Detroit versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati's bad, man, so I'm going to go Detroit, and that's going to be an easy pick there. New England versus Buffalo, division rivals. Give me Buffalo. They look better than New England. They're more consistent, too, so I got the Bills. Kansas City versus Jacksonville. Oddly enough, I've been going back and forth on this. I don't think Jacksonville's all that great, but they're at home. Kansas City's had some struggle. I'm going to go Kansas City as a safe pick, but don't be surprised if Jacksonville wins that game. All right, games of the week. I only have 2. We'll start off with the NFL. Tampa Bay versus Seattle, Sunday at 1:05 p.m. on CBS. And for the MLB, the NLDS, and the ALDS, both start on Saturday. The dates will be the times will be announced later after Game 3s are done for all the teams. As of right now, they are currently playing their Game 3s for the Wild Card Series. So no game on Friday. Games start on Saturday and Sunday for Games 1 and 2. So make sure you guys check out that. All right, guys, that'll do for this episode. Thank you guys for listening. 181 episodes in the books. We appreciate you guys so much. If you guys haven't already, go check out the previous episode, College Sports, all about the football season, all about the hockey season coming up, and a couple other stuff sprinkled in there. If you guys are wanting to listen to an NHL preview episode, make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe, that bell icon, because we are going to drop a NHL episode pretty damn soon, hopefully by Monday at the latest. So you guys want to check that out before the season starts. It will be coming out real soon. So I'm real excited to record and edit that one. Should be a very good episode with some very good guests there. So make sure you guys have an awesome weekend. Watch some sports, watch some college sports, watch some pro sports, because we got a lot to watch this weekend. And we'll see you guys later.